You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty.
Watch Johnnie's bite.
You know, I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I mean, I understand some of your approach. I mean, sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why?
Maybe, hey,
Why do you panic?
the way you, Papa, you know Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it pretty.
Watch Johnnie's bite.
Bismillahir Rahman Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Friday. Welcome to Johnnie's Bite. Well, tomorrow evening, I'm told that at the Tudu Center in Tamale, there will be a dance for education purposes happening, and it's going to be exciting. Kudos to Osman and the rest of the team for putting that great initiative out there in Tamale. It's going to happen in the evening, I'm told. Dance for education at the Tudu Center for Leadership in Tamale, and it's going to be sweet, sweet, sweet and exciting. The regional minister, I'm told, will be there. His Royal Majesty, the Overlord of Dagban, will be there, and many other greats will be there as well. I should be there if God grants us grace and life. I should be in Tamale and to also see what the dance and what it means for our culture and tradition is. A lot of it has been happening lately, you know, from the citizenry demanding or asking or requesting of the president to release the GRA SML deal report, which now has been made public, but of course it's evidently clear that there were things in it that perhaps the presidency didn't want us to see, and they were hiding behind the RTI law and provisions within. The chief director at the presidency wrote and said, we won't give you Suleiman Abrahama and Manasseh Azuri winning a fourth estate, and in fact, by extension, the entirety of Ghanaians. We won't give you the report. We now know that SML, which are supposed to help us to collect taxes from people and to seal all the loopholes, they themselves were leaking. We also know that there were certain arrangements that were reached which were not grounded in law, and many other things. It's quite a bulky document. And then you ask yourself why that document was released at this particular time. Is it indeed true, the fact that it is a red herring to keep the Ghanaian public and the citizens from asking questions about the gang of 6 hotels that SNIT want to give off? And yesterday I was just thinking through, I said, these hotels are on prime lands in Accra. I've been talking about the grabbing of lands in Accra. Labadi Beach Hotel, I'm told, has about 90% occupancy. And I'm told by somebody that Labadi Beach was thrown in to sweeten the deal because all the other, all the other hotels themselves were not fit for purpose. The question is, why is SNIT disposing of these things? And why is SNIT not coming clean and clear on the gang of 6 hotels? Please come to me. On the gang of 6 hotels. Why is SNIT not being clear? Why is SNIT not telling the people? Because we, the people, are the members of SNIT and the contributors of SNIT. Mami, come to me. And the contributors of SNIT. We own SNIT. So then the question you ask is, we have the men, we have the men, we have the men, of course, by extension, the women. We have the men cannot manage 6 hotels they now have to look for a private person who is also a member of cabinet and a member of government and a competitor within the field to manage it. Okum chola, enya wawa. We have the men. We have the men. We have the men. And now we have the men is giving up, throwing its hands up in the air in despair and saying that private sector, come to my aid. Are we suggesting that we cannot find the right pair of hands to manage what is happening at SNIT? And somebody told me yesterday that, you know, when SNIT, they get disgruntled with you and they are not happy with you as a manager, without caring that you have experience in hospitality management or not, they just throw you in there to say, they give you one of those hotels to say, go and manage those hotels. Now, there's a La Palm Royal Beach letter. Please pull it up for me. They just throw you in there to go and manage it. The truth must be told that some of the hotels that are being given off, if you go to some of those hotels and the facilities and the services are nyah. But the point I'm making ultimately is that those hotels are situated on prime lands in Accra. Labadi Beach is on a prime land in Accra. La Palm Royal Beach is on a prime land in Accra. So today it is 60%. Tomorrow it will be 80%, then 90%, then 100%. Now, SNIT is supposed to be a long-term investment in the interest of the members and the contributors. So that if eventually the hotels get into the... There's a La Palm Royal Beach letter, please. Eventually, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Eventually, the hotels get into private hands and they decide that we won't run a hotel anymore. We are breaking everything to do plush homes or whatever it is. What would we say? I'm saying the hotels are on prime lands. And as Labour has indicated, keep off. As sane voices in society have said, keep off. Somebody even went to the extent of suggesting that, oh, it is not Brian Champon who wants to buy the hotels. They are buying it for the president. I said, I don't know. Sometimes you people too stretch things too much. But is it true? I don't know. Here is a letter dated the 25th of March 2024. Please expand it for us so we can all read it together. Now, up there is a memorandum, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Accountant, kindly process for payment. Thank you. Signed, 3rd of April 2024. It's to the financial controller, from the general manager, 25th of March 2024. Subject, acting allowance general manager's position. Following the demise, hey, whose love letter am I reading on the TV? Following the demise of the general manager, let's get to it. Let's get to the letter quickly, and you can always share the link and join us with your thoughts and comments. Now it says, following the demise of the general manager, Mr. Kwesi Kwenim, which occurred on November 8, 2022, the chief executive officer, Nana Domtier Onwona Kwache of the Golden Beach Hotels, acted as a general manager of La Palm Royal Beach Hotel for 6 months. That's from November 1, 2022 to April 28, 2023, and handed over to Mr. Anthony Gansa on May 1, 2023. Therefore, we write to request for acting allowance of an amount of $3,000, and we are told to quote in cedis, all of us, but our companies are quoting in dollars. $3,000 per month for 6 months, amounting to $18,000 to be paid to Nana Domtier Onwona Kwache for the period she acted. The payment should be made in 2 installments. Kindly find attached minutes of management strategic meeting to confirm the acting position. Thank you. Anthony Gansa signed that because he took over from the said Nana, and there's this kindly validate and blah, 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 blah. Now, if a company can pay $18,000 just for somebody who also works within the same establishment, all right, and took on the management of this institution as additional responsibility because the manager then had died or is deceased and had to be paid $18,000. The question that the ordinary Ghanaian SNIT member and contributor will ask is If the company can pay $18,000 for somebody to act for 6 months, and the person is also getting their original salary and allowances and everything else in addition to, acting as general manager, then why should we be selling such a company? Because for a company to be able to fork out $18,000, it's no joke, or it's not justified. Come to me. So SNIT has a lot of explanation to do. And no matter how you decide to maybe arrest Hobson Adoye, or you decide to toss in the SML report, or you decide to talk about Atu forcing in the court, or you decide to talk about illegal or secret recruitment, we will still go back to the SNIT conversation, because as for the SNIT thing, it is tied to our umbilical cord towards our future. Some people have contributed to SNIT for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 15 years, 18 years, 12 years, 10 years, 5 years, 9 years. Their future depends on it. So as for the Chacha, we won't allow it to, because we have read the Japadier document too. And we have seen how changes were supposed to have been done. And a bird whispered to me that Mr. Yasafo Mafo's son, who is now the Director General of SNIT, right? Dr. Tinkran's office, and if anybody who has gone to SNIT before, the office is huge, it's big, it's very cozy, it's spacious, luxurious. He says he doesn't like it. So they are changing the office. We are spending your money, your tax, your SNIT contributions to do another office for him. Yeah, we are spending the money that you don't have, the money that if you as an employer of a private business, if you don't pay, SNIT will catch you and take you to SNIT court, Saturday court. They are using some of that money to go and do another office. The office that Dr. Tinkran left is not spoiled too. They are going to make another office. That's how they spend your money. That's how SNIT actually misuses your money, for want of a better expression. So it was good for the goose. Dr. Tinkran, it was good for him to use that office. But for the gander, the son of the senior most advisor to the president, it's not good for him. I said, as for this SNIT matter, if you like, go and collect all the money from Woyomi. We will talk about the SNIT matter, because as for the SNIT matter, it is tied to our future. It's tied to our future. And the shamelessness, the unpatriotic patriotism that is happening must stop. You cannot be an unpatriotic patriot. No. It must stop. Those 6 hotels, SNIT has to come clean and tell us, if you're able to pay $18,000 to somebody, you should be able to come clean to tell us that, look, we are able to pay $18,000, but we are not able to manage ourselves. Here is why. You cannot just come and wish it away and come and put 6 of our hotels out there. Labadi Beach Hotel is not a struggling hotel. Labadi Beach Hotel is a viable hotel. And let nobody fool you that anybody is doing anybody a favor by buying those hotels. Let nobody fool you. Every month, this month, today is the 24th, right? The month will end. SNIT would, without fail, deduct. The deductions will be given to them. What do they use those monies for? They are supposed to use those monies for investments towards our future. What kind of future does the Ghanaian worker have? Have you ever been to any of those SNIT offices? The cozy offices within which they work. And of course, it's their conditions of service. Okay. But I'm saying that the Director General who recently left, who was pushed out, his office was fit for purpose. How is it that within a space of a month and 2, that office is no longer fit for purpose? And that a whole new office has to be constructed? How? And we say we are in difficult times. We are in this together. We are not in normal times. Charlie, move away from it. Let's go to the court. There's a pull and push. Sami Jemfi on one side, he's the director, is a communications officer of the NDC. Godfrey Dami, the attorney general, leader of the bar on one side. And then I see also Godwin Edujita-Maklo. We'll play something from back in the day from Godwin Edujita-Maklo. But first, play Sami Jemfi's his disagreement with his shock. I don't know how to describe it, but just play it for me.
During the trial, businessman Richard Jakpa, who was being cross-examined by Godwin Edujita-Maklo, counsel for Keso Atoforsen, was cautioned by Justice Ifya Sewa Asaribuchi to be direct in his responses rather than going around it and wasting the court's time. The third accused was responding to questions on who was behind approval of letters of credit for the purchase of the ambulances. Attorney General Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, reacting to the judge's caution, accused Richard Jakpa of defending Dr. Keso Atuforsen. This triggered the third accused, who retorted that the Attorney General appeared pained because he had engaged him to help the state make a case against Dr. Keso Atuforsen. Richard Jakpa alleged that he had been approached by the AG and had had odd-hour meetings with him on implicating the former deputy minister, but he refused. The minority leader, who was present in court, was taken aback and looked upset by the development. Justice Ifeasewa Asare-Botwe then stood down the case and called all representing lawyers as well as the Attorney General into her chambers for a meeting. After about 30 minutes, the case was recalled, after which she indicated that at the next hearing, a stay of proceedings motion filed by counsel for Atuforsen will be heard. The case has been adjourned to May 28 for further cross-examination of Richard Jakpa. Dr. Keso Atuforsen, together with Dr. Sylvester Animana and Richard Jakpa, are on trial for causing financial loss of 2.37 million euros to the state through a contract to purchase 200 ambulances for the Ministry of Health. The state has, however, discontinued the case against Dr. Sylvester Animana. Lord Edwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
So that's a rap by Lord Edwasari. And as they say in the local parlance, aye hoo. Because all this started, there's the ambulance trial, Atuforsen in there, all of the conversations. So it's purely a political issue. Find me Franklin Kujo's clipping. He said something. It's purely a political issue now, but it's before the court, so I won't get into the merits of the matter. But then the questions keep coming up. So there's the concept of holding public officials accountable. That's one. But in whose interest are we holding them accountable? Are we holding them accountable in the interest of the nation and the citizens? Or are we holding them accountable in the interest of our political parties so that our political parties will thrive? Listen to Sami Jevi.
But we were shocked to the marrow when the third accused, under cross-examination, disclosed to the courts that the Honorable Attorney General has been reaching out to him, calling him over the phone, and that he has met with him in person, and that the Attorney General has been asking him to give false testimony to the courts and skew his testimony in such a way that corroborates the case of the Attorney General against the first accused, so that the first accused can be convicted and jailed. He said this in open court and asked that it should be put on record. And her ladyship also directed that same should be captured by the record. And so what we are talking about is something which is on record. And we as a political party are totally scandalized and disgusted by this development. We are not surprised because we've always known that this is a stock in trade of Godfrey Yeboah-Dame. This is not a man who is interested in justice or the law. This is not a man who is an Attorney General and Minister of Justice. No, this is a devious character with no honor whatsoever, no respect for justice, no respect for the rule of law, no respect for the rights of accused persons, and who always go about manipulating judicial processes to get his way at all cost.
That's Sami Jefi. He's the National Communications Officer of the NDC. And he's not happy. They are not happy with Godfrey Yeboah-Dame. But Godfrey Yeboah-Dame has a response from the Office of the Attorney General. And they will do the throwback from Eduji, but put up the response from the Office of the Attorney General, signed by the Deputy Attorney General. And yesterday in court, I'm told that Mr. Jakpa got so angry, he was offered water by the judge, and he refused. He had gotten so livid, he was so angry, he was offered water, and he refused. He didn't take the water. And that's where the judge invited the counsel into her chambers, and they had conversations and all of that. But in the court, Atuforsen was also startled that, hey, So all this has been happening. I didn't know. That people were being met at odd hours, and there are letters flying around, plea bargain and all of that. We don't have too much time. I'm sure tomorrow on key points, that the releases will be given to you. But as I said, this has taken a political turn. Show me Franklin Kujo's post, please. This has taken a political turn. Now the question is, who do you believe? Now it is in the public domain. Now the public is watching. This is what Franklin Kujo says in Money Africa. He says, the AG is many things and has lost some of my respect. But I doubt he would be this brazen to convince an accused person make false statements against Honorable Atuforsen. I believe the Jakpa guy could have been approached to cooperate in exchange for a lesser sentence. But then the case itself is politically motivated and must be discontinued. Let's read it again. The AG is many things and has lost some of my respect. But I doubt he would be this brazen to convince an accused person make false statements against Honorable Atuforsen. I believe the Jakpa guy could have been approached to cooperate in exchange for a lesser sentence. But then the case itself is politically motivated and must be discontinued. Let's see the AG statement, please. The AG has a response. And then you put together the video from the NDC's Director of Legal for me. The AG has a response. If we can't find a response immediately, let's play Eluji's video so that we can make up for the time, because we don't have too much time.
Don't allow anybody to use your hand to carry this, excuse my language, human excreta.
Okay.
He said, if it's a good thing, let the person use his own hand.
Don't do somebody's dirty work. Is that what it means?
Don't do somebody's dirty job. Especially a man who is 80 years and about to go.
This is a very serious thing.
Yes. Look, have you seen me?
The Attorney General is doing the dirty
job. Dirty job. The thing that he's doing is not consistent with Article 88 that he referenced in his article or statement.
The job of the Attorney General,
yes.
Minister of Justice.
Yes. First of all, the power to prosecute. That is why we don't call it persecution. It is prosecute. It's a public duty.
Correct.
So you don't use that power for purely partisan political end. You don't. There's a reason. Because you see, in this whole country, there's only one person who can be an Attorney General at any point in time. Just as there's only one person who can be the president at any point in time. It's for good reason. And the power in Article 88 is a special power. Look, of all the office holders, ministers, the only minister that is specifically mentioned in the 1992 Constitution is who?
The Attorney General, Minister of Justice.
Yes. It's for a reason.
Do you get a sense that...
So you are given a certain constitutional protection so you can do your work without fear or favor. This one, and look, you see...
Is it conflicted in terms of handling both the office of the Attorney General and then the office of the Minister of Justice, which is a political, he has to go and bow.
What I know is that it's an office that requires sobriety, reflection, sobriety and reflection.
So that is the head of the legal department of the NDC. I hosted him months ago, and this was his view about the conduct of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. In fact, on that occasion, in this studio, right in this studio at 3FM 92.7, that's why you should listen to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. I asked him a question whether we should decouple the two, the office of the Attorney General and then the Minister of Justice role. And I think the answer was clear, that look, there's a conflict of interest that comes like that. So I ask you again, who do you believe? Because the Attorney General has written that, look, all of what is being said is actually not the case. that we only sought to get, okay, so it says the attention of the Office of the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, has been drawn to media commentary by persons associated with the National Democratic Congress, NDC, on an allegation made by the third accused persons, Richard Jakpa, during proceedings in court on May 23rd May 2024, that the Attorney General desired his cooperation in the matter in order to secure a conviction of the first accused, Kesala Tuforsin. For the record, the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice categorically denies the allegations and insinuations of the NDC and responds as follows. 1. The Republic has throughout the trial relied solely on the record of the impugned transaction, that is the purchase of ordinary vans purporting to be ambulances, to sustain its case against the accused person. The record existed before January 2022 when the case was commenced and was duly filed in court by the prosecution before the commencement of the trial. 2. The Republic has never required or desired the cooperation of any accused persons in the matter in which it has already succeeded in establishing a prima facie case against all the accused persons. Neither the Attorney General nor any other officer from the Office of the Attorney General has approached any of the accused persons with a view to obtaining evidence from them. So the Attorney General says those midnight meetings and those awkward odd hours meetings, said it never happened. Now, let's jump to 4. Even though the law on plea bargaining passed by Parliament permits a prosecutor to negotiate with an accused person after a plea proposal has been made, the Attorney General has not engaged the third accused person to give false testimony in the matter. So that's where the Attorney General clears the air. The Attorney General has also come under enormous pressure from all manner of persons for him to discontinue the prosecution of the first accused person, Kesala Tuforsin, but has not yielded. Who are these persons who are mounting pressure, and can the Attorney General name them? We are told that on Tuesday there will be an expose. The Attorney General says they also have expose. We wait. The Attorney General has video evidence of the first accused person, Kesala Tuforsin, coming to meet him and to plead with him to discontinue the prosecution. This the Attorney General has refused to do. Kesala Tuforsin and his team from the deepest depth also say they also have a video. Now, the Office of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice considers the latest allegation leveled against the Attorney General as part of a grand scheme by the NDC to put more pressure on him to discontinue the prosecution or to divert attention from the real issues regarding the actions of the accused persons, which have caused enormous financial loss to the state. 8. The public is entreated to disregard the allegations. The Attorney General remains focused on a zealous prosecution of the case. End. Signed, Alfred Chiaibwa, is Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice. And the question I end with is, who do you trust? Do you trust the Attorney General who says, I've not had any such meeting, but of course we have had correspondences regarding plea bargain and etc.? Or do you trust Atuforsin with Sami Jemfi and Eduji Tamaklo on one side, who are questioning the Attorney General and suggesting that he is doing something that is not supposed to be done by an office holder of his caliber? Or do you sit with the public who say that this is all a red herring to make us forget about the SNIT hotels that are up for grabs? I leave that to your good conscience. But let me tell you, the secret recruitments are happening. I have to tell you that the SNIT hotels have been put on sale. I have to tell you that the Electoral Commission is still flip-flopping with the registration. I have to tell you that the economy is still in tatters. I have to tell you that our exchange rate is still in a mess. And I have to tell you that a lot more people are hungry, and even Guta is complaining about the cost of doing business. These are the weightier matters that Ghanaians want to know about, not about some red herring that is being thrown to the people. Have a good morning. Enjoy your Friday. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0155.